but let's talk about reapportionment just straight out. There are so many restrictions on reapportionment in this state. Some of them constitutional within the state, some of them Supreme Court of the United States invoked. Right? There's a lot of rhetoric about gerrymandering and all that. Let's just take a few facts and accept them as they are. You know, in 1974, the Assembly took over the majority and has never looked back. It's increased its majority. Let's just recognize that in 1972, Republican governor, Republican Senate, Republican Assembly was responsible for the drawing of the lines on the Assembly. In 2002, the Republicans were in charge of the Senate and drew the Senate lines. In 2008, on those lines, the Democrats took control of the Senate. I mean, we may differ on varying degrees of the definition of control, but that's a fact. And, you know, let's be clear on that. Many districts aren't of the cookie-cutter variety for a host of reasons, constitutional relevance. One of the biggest problems is we have a 100-something-year-old provision in our Constitution that says you can't split a town, no matter what, and it's been upheld by the Supreme Court. We have a 100-year-old provision that says you can't split a county, and basically the Supreme Court has said you should ignore that, even though it's still as part of our law. It is ignored because the Supreme Court says, because voting rights come first, the opportunities come first, and there are other principles that come first, like keeping communities together for a variety of reasons. But our state constitution protects towns. It can't be divided, and other entities, you know, should be taken into account, whether it's school districts, there's one, villages, there's no requirement. I mean, this was a Republican provision to the Constitution that required their strength, the towns, to be there, and it's over 100 years old.
Well, but certainly you would agree that partisanship has played a big role in how these districts are drawn.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's one of the reasons you have 107 members.
No, I don't agree with you, by the way. I think we reflect basically pretty much the registrations in this state and the additions.
Well, no, you give an advantage of better than 2-to-1 in members, whereas the Senate, where the Republicans draw the line, it's only 32-30.
The issue is the independence and who attracts the independence. There's clearly a Democratic advantage in enrollment in this state. And the swing, if I may say, are the independents, the blanks, etc. We have been successful, our members have been successful in appealing to many of the independents. In the Senate, apparently, the Republicans have been more successful in appealing to many of those independents. So that's been the swing.
So you were saying when the commission goes in to draw the lines, they don't think of how to give advantages in the Assembly to the Democrats and in the Senate to the Republicans.
Oh, no, let's be very clear. You know, I know the ultimate goal. I know the ultimate goal is competitive districts, right? It sounds terrific. So let's be clear. How do you take a district in central Brooklyn, central Manhattan, and make it a competitive district, Republicans to Democrats? It just doesn't exist. I make no illusion that my district, you know, if Lassie ran on the Democratic line, Lassie would win in my district. I'm being serious. So there's no way to make it competitive between Democrats and Republicans.
Last year wasn't a primary.
Yeah, but now we're asked to read, I don't know. You never know. But the point I'm making is, how do you make that competitive? How do you read voters' minds in a primary where there's no indication how they're going to vote? Now, we have a Voting Rights Act. We comply with the Voting Rights Act. In many instances, we try to combine a variety of, not a variety, minority groups into a district that goes away from the compactness of that district in order to find a voting rights district. That's the Supreme Court of the United States and a federal mandate as interpreted by the Supreme Court of the United States. Suffolk County, 8 years ago, we created a district out of pieces of other districts in order to create a Hispanic district, a minority district of Suffolk County that's now represented by Phil Reynolds. That was carved. People call it gerrymandering. The reality is it was in conformance with the Voting Rights Act.
Shifting